Welcome back to Fearless and Undefined. And on this episode in the series of Super Queens, we have a very special guest who is a lot like me, and y'all will find that out soon. I've known her for a couple of years, and she's such an amazing soul and hard worker. However, she has a little secret that not many people know about until she tells the world. And I cannot wait for this opportunity for her to share it with you. So, why don't we go take a look and see if she's ready to go? Hi. So, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Zoey Hansen. I'm 15 years old. I am your International United Miss Michigan Junior Teen. I've been doing pageants for about 4 years now, and I got diagnosed with dyslexia in first grade.
Wow, that's first grade. What does it affect for you?
It's been harder to read things, especially because a bunch of my friends love to read books, and that just makes it harder for me. So I've learned that I really like graphic novels because they are in smaller passages and very bright and colorful. Like I still can't read some words, like I can't even say some words for like my speeches and pageants because it's too hard and my brain just doesn't function it.
I get that. I feel like sometimes like I can look at a word and understand what it means, the definition, but then like the words just don't come out, and I feel like that's one of the hardest things to be able to deal with, especially in pageantry.
Yeah.
So besides outside of pageantry, because we're going to cover that in a second, what does this really look like for you inside of a classroom when it comes to learning and being able to keep up with your peers?
So thankfully, I am homeschooled, which thankfully really helps me. When I was younger, I did more like co ops and it was really hard. So I had to like go up to teachers and I really had to like talk to them and try to be like, hey, like if there's a lot of writing, I can't do this class because I wasn't able to. But when I was young, they put me on this thing called mind play and they wanted me to do these little sections and there was different levels, but I couldn't get past level 3 and it was a huge passage of reading and then you had to pick the best answer of how you would understand it. And I just couldn't get past it. I would get in screaming matches with my mom and I was like destroying our friendship and like being my mom. So she eventually just took me off of it. And then I started doing like little things and she would like write things on paper and say, can you go find this for me? So I would have to read, but it wasn't as pressuring because pressure just wasn't good for me.
Yeah, I get that. That's a smart way to be able to figure things out for sure. And just like a little bit of, hey, I need this, but you got to figure out what I need first. That's smart. I like that.
Yeah.
So, has this, I know you mentioned earlier sometimes it's hard in speeches. What does having dyslexia do affecting your pageantry life and potentially speeches or interviews? How has this affected you?
Definitely I had a very long speech made for one of my pageants and I went to go say it and I literally could not get the word and I just could not get it over and over and it was equality. I couldn't figure out how to read it and say it. So I figured out that I put an equal sign above it. So I kind of had an idea of what it was because I couldn't get it just looking at it. But pageants has thankfully like built my confidence about talking about it. So like it was at first like I was like, oh, I'm not going to talk about it. I told my pageant coaches and they were like, oh, you need to talk about that. And I was like, oh, that's not really my thing. Like I kind of keep it in me. And they're like, no, it will make you stand out. And it's good to talk about it and you can make it like a service initiative. And I really liked that part. And now that I've gotten older, it's definitely became easier to do that now. And I feel more comfortable even telling kids around my age.
Yeah, I'm 22 and I've only just recently begun being okay with talking about it because my whole life I was looked down on, made fun of, even by peers and teachers telling me like, "Oh, because you need this little extra help in the classroom, you're not going to go as far as you want in life. You're not going to make these things happen." Like my ultimate goal is to become a veterinarian, and yes, that requires a lot of school, a lot of book work. However, I've learned how to manage my dyslexia best and be able to push past it and overcome it and move towards the goals I do have in my life. And in my mind, the greatest accomplishment is being able to prove everyone who told me no wrong. To everyone who had ever said, you're not going to make it into A&M, you're not going to graduate from college, you're not going to become a vet because you need that little extra help in a classroom. And every little step that I've taken is just more joy knowing I am doing what so many people have told me I couldn't. And I've gotten so much more comfortable speaking up for myself in those situations and being able to speak up to professors, especially, and say, hey, just because I learn a little bit differently than the person sitting next to me that has an A doesn't mean I'm any less of a student. And it's really gotten a lot more easy to talk about the more I talk about it. And I've definitely, pageantry has helped with that the most. Okay, so my last question. How have you learned to overcome this in a classroom setting and in the pageantry world?
So definitely it helped talking about it more, like even telling just the other contestants because they might not understand as much. And also when I got into pageantry with my dyslexia, my mom wanted me to look up things about like who had dyslexia. And I found like so many celebrities who are actors and singers even have dyslexia and are making it big. So that helped me. And I really just had to believe in myself more because I was so worried about what other people were going to say about me. But people are always going to say things. It doesn't mean they're right. You really just need to like believe in yourself and you will feel so much better and it will be way easier to overcome. But I'm still not done. I'm only 15. I still have a long way to go.
You do. And I'm so glad you're able to share your story with us today. And I know that you have a national pageant to attend this summer. And I wish you all the best of luck. And I can't wait to see how you do. And I can't wait to hear more about what you have because I know this pageant system has a speech. And being able to hear you talk on stage with a microphone, I feel like is going to be very empowering, especially to the young girls who maybe are a little bit scared to talk about their differences. And I really hope that them hearing older girls speak about this really helps them and encourages them to be okay with their differences.
Yeah.
Yes, well, thank you so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to see everything that you accomplish.
Of course. Thank you.